This was your fault and Charles.
Well,
but I also,
it's your fault because you couldn't sing it.
Oh, fuck you.
So.
But this, I also did something on this song that I swore I would never do, ever.
What's that?
Welcome to Season 2 of the Aloud podcast. In this season, Jen and Henry break down the writing and recording of the latest Aloud album, Apollo 6. Since they've lived the majority of their lives in Boston and Miami, bad language is liberally used. So if you're listening at work and have issues with foul words like fuck, shit, and Ted Cruz, you've been duly warned. Have it!
All right, so what are we...
Oh boy, Apollo. If you thought Big Blue was heavy, hold on to your fucking hat.
Henry's going through an existential crisis. I mean, not that I went through my existential crisis, but I don't think I necessarily handle it the same way.
Listen, like, yes, I know the marketing materials all said these are the most personal songs that they're like. I'm not fucking playing. Like, these were like,
So yeah, Apollo again also features more awesome sound effects.
Yeah.
Actually taken from.
The Apollo 17 mission. I'm pretty sure it's 17.
Yeah. So what you hear at the front of the track, the Nothing Is Wrong.
Nothing Is Wrong, yeah.
Is,
yeah.
I don't know the name of the astronaut, but it's dedefinitely one of the
Mission Control.
Mission Control.
Yeah, it's like before launch.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like another one of those, again, actually, no, this was like around my birthday that year. So it's just, great.
Uh-huh.
But there's like another morning thing where like I was kind of getting up early and like I kind of figured out for myself a little system of like, we have a 1-bedroom apartment, folks. It's, you can hear everything. So me figuring out how to be quiet in the morning just so I could put down some fucking thing and not just wake up Jen, but like the building.
The building, yeah.
And everybody's home because it's LA and it's the pandemic.
Right.
So I, like I said earlier, I took a lot of like sort of comfort in like, in my mind, like 90s sounds, just like loud guitars and just just big, fast, things. And this was like another just piece of music where, like it was like a weird, chord inversion,
okay.
Like the chord pattern, the progression is like whatever, but it was like some weird thing. It was very bassy.
Uh-huh.
I kind of plugged in some fake drums and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is fucking sick. It's like nice and it's loud, and like I had no idea where it was going to go vocally or with words and stuff. I think this is gonna be so stupid, but like, I like to the working titles I give stuff. I don't like to think too hard about it. I'm just like, whatever I look at, or if I hear something, or something pops in my mind, that's the name of it for now.
Right.
Could always change it. And I think we just finished watching like 30 Rock, like the whole thing. And I was thinking of that episode where Alec Baldwin, he's like trying to remember some gift he got or something like that, and he finds like a video and he yells Apollo. I'm like, Apollo. It was like, boom, that's the title. It's such a fucking bonkers thing to call anything. It's like, this is, it's probably not going to be this, but whatever. And then from that, I'm like trying to like find, again, the music concrete stuff. Like, what's like a thing I could kind of like stick in here that like might be neat. And I thought like, Apollo, all right, let me dig through the fucking NASA stuff. It's all public domain.
Yeah. We love that.
We all paid for it, right?
Uh-huh.
And started going through like some transcripts and stuff like on some website, and it was like the mission control thing. And, just something, I think this is kind of the whole point of Music Concrete is just like things that kind of overlap and coincide in like ways you wouldn't expect.
Right.
And it was like, basically it was just like, I forget the exact thing, it's on the record, but Mission Control is like kind of describing like these like warning lights like going off in the module, and how, it's likely that, nothing is just actually wrong.
The crew has discussed one unexplained series of events. It appears that when certain switches are cycled or moved on panel 2, which is the main panel in front of them, the center panel of the spacecraft, they're getting a master caution and warning signal. A light comes on, a tone comes on. This is to attract the crew's attention that something may be wrong, and the normal procedure is then to look at another matrix of lights which would zero them in on the problem. The light, or the system or subsystem or particular area being monitored which had the problem would light an individual light. However, when they go to this other matrix of lights, they find that none of them are lighted. This is leading the crew and flight controllers here in Mission Control to believe that they're getting a spurious signal to the master caution and warning, when in fact nothing is wrong.
Nothing's actually wrong. It's just like a malfunction of like the warning. It's
sounds like anxiety.
It's yeah, and like
sounds like
they might
trouble.
think something about like the master control for some whatever, when in fact nothing is wrong.
Yeah.
And like I heard that snippet, I'm like, this is fucking beautiful. Like and like you said, it's like that anxiety of just like
your brain thinks something's
like
wrong.
Warning lights.
And actually, like, you're okay. This isn't life-threatening.
Yeah. It's like warning lights, and it's like, no, this is just like, it's fine. This is just the warning lights are just going off for no reason. And so I'm like, oh, this will probably be significant later when I figure out what
this song is about.
Yeah. So the original demo, it was just it was just the music, and then when that like speech or the audio kicks in was like in the same spot, like that stayed. And it was like a couple keys higher also, and so that was that. And I think by the time we got to recording the thing, it was like a thing where like I had to, because like we had been like so long without like playing regularly, like my already not great vocal ability just atrophied. So like it was kind of like relearning to like sing, that was like a struggle, right? Hoping I did right by those who gave me love. Like that, but correct.
Yeah.
Not so hot stuff.
Do you need more you and your monitors?
Yeah. We were recording the vocals, and
we're still out of practice, right?
Yeah. It was just like, I mean, you're talking about a year.
Yeah.
Without
folks,
like,
again, the thing about us not rehearsing regularly, so you're not singing regularly.
Yeah.
You write this song, you send it off. By the time that we go put our parts on it, right?
It's maybe
been a month, and then you're like, you haven't done anything with it. You haven't been in the rehearsal room rehearsing it. So you kind of go in there and you're like, I've now got to sing this song that I haven't sung since the day I wrote it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need a lyric sheet. Like, we never need lyrics. We know all the lyrics. You know what I mean? Like it was very weird. It was like relearning the day you're going in to put your parts on.
Yeah. There were so many moments where like, because again, we were building on top of the demo instead of like making a demo and then that's a reference point.
Right.
But we do a new thing. This is just like, we're just stacking on top of this thing and replacing stuff.
Right.
So like there were so many times, and especially on the song where like, we had to go to Charles, who was like engineering. It's like, can you switch on the bold
Yeah, what
vocal.
did I do there?
What did I do?
Yeah.
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 So, and then so point is like, from there, we were like, my voice was like kind of strained. Like I could hit those
It was
notes
a bit of a
now.
strain
But at the time I was like straining. So like we kept dropping the key
Yeah.
to the point where it was in G sharp, which is like, I've gotten so much shit for in the past about G sharp.
Yeah, you
Like,
have.
like Cresting Waves is in G sharp and I got like
Fucking
stink
writes
eye.
in G sharp.
This was your fault and Charles.
Well,
But I
no,
also,
it's your fault because you couldn't sing it.
oh, fuck you.
So
But this, I also did something on this song that I swore I would never do ever.
what's that?
Put a capo on the first fret.
Oh,
That to me is just like,
it's like it's one fret.
you
man.
fucking
Yeah.
baby. You fucking baby. Just play a bar chord, you asshole. But there's something about the chord inversions that was just like, God damn it. Like,
Yeah, playing it open like that though, it just always sounds.
Yeah.
it has a particular sound.
yeah.
and
And
it
like,
sounds good.
and it's like a meaty, like,
Yeah.
So that was the recording of that. Like I love this song. It's just so odd. Again, just going to my love of like crazy opening lines.
Yeah.
It's like I was always born out of time.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I was born out of
what a
time, yeah.
thing to fucking lay on someone.
Yeah, I mean, I think this track is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's one of these that I almost have like the least to do with, so I can kind of
Yeah.
really like look at it as
Well,
like a fan.
Yeah,
No, I
you
know.
added
I
the
know.
thing at
The
the end.
outro, yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing game vocals. We're doing game vocals. We're doing vocals and we're starting a game.
I'm the leader.
No, you do have the leather jacket. Like a son of a bitch.
We'll be right. We relay that.
Ah.
Yeah, do you actually, for that last one where it just holds a note, do you want to try and hold a note with it?
Yeah, the very last one. You mean like end where the song ends?
Yeah. Well, no, and then, the other option is really just like do your last ah and then.
Wait, how does it end? It just does like a. I think I just thought there were more coming. That's why I went. Yeah. I just lost track of counting.
That's okay. Let's do it one more time.
Okay. So, this track, to me, I think I gave you one lyric and the outro because it was so. It was just really like these poetic lyrics. I didn't want to change anything, and it was just again really lovely. And the bit, my favorite bit is the bit at the end after the solo, where it breaks down a bit and there's the feedback and you can hear Mission Control again. And then, there's that line,
Yeah.
all will be right, we relay light,
Yeah.
which is, just so inspiring. For me, again, like I've got this distance with it so I can talk about it like this. It's just so hopeful and so uplifting in this great real way, and then we come out of that and then the song totally like this curveball with the genius of my outro with the organ, because I don't even play guitar on this track. Like I played the organ, very simple organ in the choruses and in the outro, and then did all those ton of vocals in the outro.
Yeah, no, that was like a lot of layering and stuff.
Yeah, which was a lot of fun. I love doing stuff like that because, like, me and harmonies, like, I could do that shit all day long.
Yeah. When at that session too, like I remember, like told Charles the idea, and he's like, all right, so like we start like adding stuff, and he's like, he was the one that was like, I remember anyway, he was just like, let's try to add another one, and like we just kept
Maybe he did at some point, but what I remember is I remember doing the bit, and I'd be like, go again. And then I'd do another one. I'd be like, I got another one. Go again. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he maybe like I'll bet like I had these things and he's like, let's do one. And
No, he was
be
like, that's what I
"Let's
mean. Like
try
he was
another
definitely
more,"
pushing
yeah.
to keep going.
But I remember having that really. We didn't. I think on the demo we didn't do any of that.
No, the demo doesn't have it at all.
It doesn't have anything. Right?
It just ends with a
right,
and that's it.
And I didn't even know what I was gonna do. But again, this harmony stuff is I find it so easy, so second nature, that I just went in, put the first one down, and it's just, as soon as I put the first one down, I know what the next one's going to be, and the one after that, and the one after that.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun for me to do that stuff because it's so easy and it sounds so good. Yeah, nothing else is like this for me, folks. Like music's the only thing that like comes naturally in this well. But again, I could do backing vocals all day long. I love it. I love singing harmonies and backing vocals.
Yeah, and then there was I forget what this session was for specifically. It was like one of the last sessions where like Vanessa came over. Mm-hmm. She's putting some like trumpet on some
like
other
Stone
songs.
Day, Morning Moon or something. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that must have been it. But I think we had just finished like the vocal stuff on Apollo like the day before that earlier today or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of like that. That was like the one like horn part that wasn't like planned or written, and
it was like an improvised.
Yeah. And we were just like, oh, you want to just like throw something on this? And she's like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And she put that little.
I think Charles actually like she started something and then Charles sort of
they were like riffing on it.
Suggested like what she eventually played.
I actually do prefer the shorter end as opposed to the longer one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do that again. Let's go with this idea.
Yeah. And it's just this nice little extra thing.
Yeah. No, Vanessa was always like great at that. Like with those little like when you kind of push her to like do an improv bit.
Whenever you ask her to improvise, she's good at that.
Yeah. So that was like another thing on that one. And then with the trials and tribulations of like recording remotely and separately, because we changed the key.
Right.
But like the organ and piano bits were in a different key, or in the original key. There was like all this like fucking.
Well, we just had to change it.
You had to change it, but it's like dealing with like computers and shit.
Because it was MIDI, right? I don't have a fucking organ, so then we have to like, is that a step up or a step below now? Is that did we change it? It was just a bunch of technological nonsense. That if we just had an organ, would have got out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah, and then even down to like when we were mixing, it's like, oh, Benny, did we forget to send Benny the piano file?
Yeah. Also. Like, this is the first record we've done completely on our own, where there was no engineer producer outside of the band dealing with all the organizational stuff.
Yeah.
So,
it was basically like left up to like Chris and Charles
had to like deal with all of that, and a lot of it was on Charles, who had to send the files to Benny. And so it's just it's just a lot of stems and files and things to deal with. You know what I mean? It is difficult to keep track of and deal with all that.
Yeah.
But,
which fucking
thank God he did. I appreciate that. As the person who usually has to organize other things. There's no way I could do this. Yeah.
Like without Chris and Charles having like their studios and like those like engineering chops.
Yeah. There'd be no record.
There'd be no record.
There'd be no record at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they would get together like on their own and like just talk about shit and like with mics and stuff.
Yeah, with the sounds and we're talking about. They would actually figure out how to get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like and Charles,
we wouldn't have been able to make a record during lockdown without them.
Yeah, and like Charles has always been like when we do demos and stuff like for other records, like he was always the one that would like handle that and like mix that stuff and like so like this was like just kind of pushing that like thing of like, all right, you're engineering this record and like Chris is doing it too,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
For that one, or do you want one from back here?
Real quick, just solo it, and then let's listen to the first two notes.
It's a different vibe, though.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's grab it from the first.
Yeah, because that's in the same family, innit? So we've got the first two sections now. Listen and check. If we need to change anything, we can change it. So, first section. You got a choice of two.
Yeah, I like to take one better, but take two is also very solid.
It was, yeah. So let's listen.
But yeah, anyway, just so to put a pin in that, the
please.
thing I hadn't gotten to was throughout the, I didn't realize like how fucked up this was until way later, but there was like a period where, you know, just before vaccines and everything, where like I would, every night I'd go to bed thinking like, well, probably not going to wake up tomorrow. That's
Jesus.
That's a distinct possibility that I'm going to catch something and die. And my thing wasn't like, oh no, I'm going to die. It was more like, what's going to happen to everybody else? Like, this is just going to be such an inconvenience. You know, like Jen's going to wake up and there's just going to be this fucking
cold body,
dead body there. And it's going to be like, God damn it. Now I got to call somebody.
How does one deal with this? Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, it was just like, you know, I kept a journal for like a couple years, like every day, you know, so like I'm curious, like kind of go back, because I would write about it whenever that would happen, you know, just very like, well, that's life.
Yeah.
That's just,
I mean, that's probably way healthier though.
yeah. And so, you know, and like I was kind of like unconsciously, I was just like kind of writing words, but like, I mean, if you listen, it's like pretty fucking clear.
I was always born out of time, hoping I did right by those who gave me love. And when I become mist and dust, you'll go on with it and without me. Always.
You know, it's if this was the last song I ever wrote,
You'd be all right.
I'd be fine.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, it's probably all I ever need to say to anybody.
He's looking real emotional.
Shut up. Fuck you. Feelings. And then the we relay light bit, that was just kind of a riff on, because we, you know, I think we needed something for that bit. I was just like, we can't just not sing words here. We need something.
Yeah.
And you know, like Fiona Apple is like one of my musical heroes, and she had just released that record, Fish and Bowl Cutters, and she has that song with that line, evil is a relay sport where the one who's burnt gets to pass the torch. And it was this idea that like, you know, just evil is like just spread from damaged people and you just kind of pass it on, you know? And to me, I was like kind of thinking about that. And to me, it's just like, what's like the flip side of that?
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, that's how we get through shit is, you know,
Doing good.
you know, it's the same idea, but it's just like, what if the idea is just to try and like spread good to other people.
Yeah.
And then you fucking die because you're not going to wake up tomorrow. But at least that good that you relayed to someone else.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll show that to someone else. Yeah.
Can be passed. And, you know, I think ultimately that's why I was like kind of in favor of like naming the record after this song. Cause it's just like, if there's like one thing I want to come out of this craziness, is just like, everything's not totally fucked.
Yeah. All is not.
Mostly, sure. But there's like, it's not, it doesn't have to be all
whether
bad.
we want to believe it or not, life is full of great pain and great joy, right? Like, we just pay attention to the bad stuff more often. We're hardwired to do that, right? Like, again, that's human nature. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just, it's normal to pay attention to the bad stuff because your brain wants to keep you out of danger, right? And with all the stuff that we're being hit with all the time, it can feel like
punishing.
Yeah, punishing. Like, it's just bad all the time. And the trick is to focus your attention on all the other stuff that is going on without you even trying, so that you can still have clean water and breathable air, whatever it may be. And you still have your coffee in the morning, and you know, like there is still, you still have good people around you.
Life
like
contains multitudes.
it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. And it's where you put your focus. And that doesn't mean that, like, obviously when you will always have these moments in life where you will be barraged by just a lot of very trying things, and you will have chronic stress from time to time.
Yeah.
And it's really about you can I can promise you that you can find moments of great joy even in those moments of great tribulation.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it comes down to is like, you know, I always like my thing is like I don't want to be like Pollyanna-ish about like positivity or toxic positivity, you know, because that's
suffering.
Because that's also bullshit too.
It's about suffering
suffering well.
Suffer well.
Yeah, like I don't want to ignore the bad shit, but I also don't want to like highlight it exclusively.
Yeah.
You know, there's like
and
other...
you're not the only, like, you know, people have always gone through this, and you will go through this again. As much as you don't want that to be true.
Yeah.
You will be tried again, you know?
Yeah.
And like, you just have to, it's like figuring out and realizing this is all just a part of life. It's never just going to be only okay or really great. It's going to be everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be everything all at once.
Yeah. Like the movie.
Like the movie.
Hey.
Okay.
Anyway, that's
I think we're
Apollo.
done with that one, right?
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
In the next episode of the Aloud podcast.
I always picture Ceiling Cat during this verse,
What
but
the fuck is Ceiling Cat?
you never seen Ceiling Cat?
Is it an internet thing?
It is an internet thing.
Fuck off.
You never seen Ceiling Cat?
No,
watching
I
you
don't
masturbate?
know what the fuck that is. And I don't care. Don't fucking show me.
Apollo 6 is out now on vinyl, CD, and digital at aloud.bandcamp.com.
Where in space are you, man?